Hello friends, this video on Algebra part 14 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. So let us see how do we solve an equation more systematically. So the basic thing that you need to remember is that whenever you are trying to solve an equation, first thing is we need to maintain the balance of the equation. So we must ensure that the equation remains balanced. What is the meaning of balanced? A balanced equation means that the left hand side and the right hand side should remain equal. Because the moment left hand side or right hand side becomes greater than each other, then the balance gets disturbed. So the equation becomes unbalanced. So the first thing, this should be the first thing. Let's say that we consider an example 3x plus 9 is equal to 1. So this is an equation given to us and we have to solve this equation. Now whatever we do to solve this equation, so right now we are talking about a systematic approach. I am no more talking about trial and error method. So whatever we do to this equation, we will have to do it in such a way that whatever is done on the left hand side is also done on the right hand side, so that overall the equation is balanced. Let's say that if this is a balance, a weighing balance, so if you put say a 50-gram coin here, you will also have to put a 50-gram coin on the right hand side so that it remains balanced. Otherwise what will happen? This side will go down and this side will go up. So it becomes unbalanced. So the same approach needs to be followed in case of equation also. So let's say this is an example that we have taken. Now let's say 3x plus 9 is equal to 1. Now we subtract 9 from both sides. So if from this side also you subtract 9 and if from this side also you subtract 9, what happens? Your equation remains balanced because this side also you have taken out 9, this side also you have taken out 9. So what does this value becomes? Plus 9 minus 9 becomes 0. So this is 3x and on this side 1 minus 9. So in this fashion you get 3x is equal to 1 minus 9. And then you can find out the value of x from this. So this is one approach where what happens is you are subtracting the same number from both sides. Therefore, the equation remains balanced, which is the most important criteria we need to remember. Now let's say for the same equation, if you subtract 9 from one side and if you subtract 10 from the other side, then what happens? Do you think that it remains balanced? No, because this value has become different, this value has become different. So in this case, this became an unbalanced equation. So you need to ensure that if you are adding something to the right hand side, add the same thing to the left hand side. If you are subtracting something from right hand side, subtract the same number from left hand side. If you are multiplying or dividing something on right hand side, do the same on left hand side. So that is the only simple thing that you need to remember, because that is the only approach for a systematic solution of an equation. So let us look at some tips to solve equations. So there are 4 important tips to solve equations. So tip number 1, transposing plus 9 from left hand side to right hand side or vice versa makes it minus 9. So whenever you are shifting a plus 9 from one side to another, whether left hand side to right hand side or right hand side to left hand side, the plus 9 becomes minus 9. So what does that mean? That means that if you have an equation 3x plus 9 is equal to 1. Let's say that you want to shift this plus 9 from left hand side to right hand side. Then what happens? Then this plus 9 becomes minus 9. So it moved from left to right, but instead of plus 9, it became minus 9. Now, can you tell me why did this happen, or why do we even need to do this? That's because in this case, what we are actually doing is we are actually subtracting 9 from both sides. Now, whenever we subtract anything on both sides, the overall value of the equation remains the same. So this case we are getting the same thing. So instead of subtracting from both sides, it is another way of saying that we are shifting plus 9 from left hand side to right hand side. And this process of shifting a number or a variable from one side to another is called transposing. And transposing is the word which is responsible for solving equations in systematic way. So by transposing numbers or variables from one side to another, we can very systematically solve equations. Similarly, if you are transposing a negative number, that is minus 9 from one side to another, it becomes plus 9. Let's say if you have 3x is equal to 1 minus 9. So this minus 9, if you want to shift to this side, then it becomes plus 9. So that's how. So whatever is plus this side becomes minus that side. Whatever is minus that side becomes plus this side. Similarly, if you transpose multiply 9 from one side to another, it becomes divided by 9. That is, let's say you have 3x is equal to 3x into 9 is equal to 1. So if this is an equation given to you. Now if you want to shift this 9 to this side, then what happens? Multiply 9 becomes divided by 9. So this becomes 1 divided by 9. Or this can be written as 3x is equal to 1 by 9. So why did this happen? Because we are basically not shifting 9 from one side to another. We are dividing both the sides by 9. So divide this left hand side by 9, divide right hand side by 9. So this is what you will get. Similarly, when you have to transpose divide by 9 from one side to another, it becomes multiplied by 9. Like 3x is equal to 1 divided by 9. So when you shift this 9 to this side, this becomes 3x into 9 is equal to 1. So with these 4 simple tips, you should be able to solve any equation that is given to you. So how do we solve equations step by step? We will see that with an example. So let's try to solve this equation step by step. So you are given an equation x plus 6 is equal to 2. So the first step, so step number 1. First step would be to bring variables on one side. So bring the variables. First you need to locate the variables and the constant. And then you bring variables on one side. So what are the variables in this equation? X is the variable. So try to keep x on one side and the constants on the other side. So for that, what you need to do? You need to shift this plus 6 to right hand side. So what will happen when 6 is shifted to right hand side? Plus 6 will become minus 6. So that is our step number 1. And in step number 2, what we need to do? We just need to find out the value. So in step number 2, x is equal to 2 minus 6, which is equal to minus 4. Now how we did this subtraction, this is something which you will learn in higher class. So but basically what I am trying to say is, the tip to solve equations systematically is that you bring all the constants on one side, you bring all the variables on one side. So with that you will be able to solve that equation. Let's take another example. Let's take an example. A by 5 is equal to 7 by 15. You have to find out the value of A. So what will you do? In this case, let's move the constants to one side. So for that, we need to shift this 5 to this side. So this is divided by 5. So the moment it will go to right hand side, it becomes multiply by 5. So this becomes 35 by 15. So 35 by 15 is the value of A. So if you put A as 35 by 15, LHS will be equal to RHS. Let's look at one more example. So let's say you have 5m plus 7 is equal to 17. So in this case also we will do the same. We will gradually move all the constants on one side and we will keep the variable, which is m, on left hand side. So first let us shift this plus 7 to this side. So what will happen? Plus 7 becomes minus 7. So this is 5m is equal to 17 minus 7 is 10. Now we have to shift this 5. So we want to shift 5 to this side. So right now it is 5 into m. So that is 5 is with multiply. So when it goes to this side, it becomes divided by. Therefore 10 by 5, which is equal to 2. Therefore m is equal to 2 is the solution for this equation. Now you will learn in your class 7th more about solving equation, but here I just gave you an idea so that you know how to solve equations systematically. Thank you. Please visit examfear.com for free quality education. You can learn with a simple 4-step learning process wherein you can watch video lessons, you can ask your questions, you can refer notes, and you can take a free online test. We have content for class 6 to 12 on physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology along with practical videos. So please subscribe to our channel for daily updates. Thank you.